Hey guys, Nerdlocker.com here with your comic book reviews this week. I'm starting off with Justice League of America #2. This is turning out to be something gigantic, and I can't wait to see what happens with all these storylines, because you got Justice League going on, Justice League of America, and they're both kind of dealing with the secret society, and we get Scarecrow's introduction to that, which is really cool. I can't wait to see who else they recruit. As far as the team goes, it's starting off like those team books I'm not a big fan of. They usually, like, you have all the people on the cover and then it turns out, oh, this guy's not here right now and you're not part of the team, and I don't know. That's kind of bothering me, but the ending to this is awesome, and the Martian Manhunter backup story is amazing. So on that alone, I'm giving it 5 out of 5 Nerd Skulls.
Hey there guys, Cubby here with my comic reviews for this week. I get to read Star Wars Legacy Volume 2, #1. And while, if you're not familiar with the Star Wars Legacy line, first one was done 40 years in the future in the Legacy timeline. And it's pretty much a story about Luke Skywalker's ancestor kind of being a douche, and Luke Skywalker's like Jedi ghost being like, look dude, stop being a douche. It was a really good series, really cool, had its little run, and then it kind of died out. This is a brand new one, and the Legacy is a solo. And it's really, really awesome, because you kind of don't see it at first, but then she starts doing like Han Solo stuff, like killing people and being like, I'm not scum, and yada, yada, yada. It's really awesome, it's really cool. But the actual story involves Siths, fighting Jedis, and political intrigue in the Star Wars universe. It's everything you want in an awesome Star Wars movie. Boom, right there in a comic book. Brand new, awesome stories. Check this out, because you will not be disappointed. I'm giving it 5 out of 5 Nerd Skulls.
So I didn't get to review a book that came out last week called 5 Ghosts, The Haunting of Fabian Gray. I got it sent to me early on to review, and I really enjoyed it. Frank Barbieri does the writing, and the art is by Chris Mooneyham, and it's really, really good. Obviously, it's the story of a relic hunter that goes around, and he finds this stone that ends up cursing him with 5 literary ghosts, such as Sherlock Holmes and Dracula, and it really makes him unbeatable as kind of our protagonist in this storyline. So I really highly recommend it, and the fact that the writer went out of his way to send it out to people like Nerdlocker to try and get it made, which was really fantastic. And now it's picked up by Image, which is fantastic news as well. So check it out. I'm going to give it 5 out of 5 Nerd Skulls.
Hey guys, I got to read Nova #2, and I'm still loving this book. After the last issue, we got to see Rocket Raccoon and Gamora, and now we find out more about what this helmet it means to Sam, this helmet that was his father's, and he's going to put it on, and just from there, this story is really picking up now. I can't say good enough things about it. I'm giving this book 5 Nerd Skulls. Check it out for sure.
I got a chance to read Justice League 18 this week, and it looks like they're expanding the league, which is awesome. We get to see a whole bunch of other characters from the DC universe kind of brought into this. Not everyone joins the team, which kind of bums me out, because I really would have liked to see how these characters would interact with this team. We do get 3 added. We get a really cool sort of just a little tease with Will Magnus and what could be the Metal Men. And I feel like that was thrown in there specifically to let us know something's going to come of this, which is awesome, because I'm a huge fan of the Metal Men. The backup story with Shazam is awesome. I can't wait to see how this ends and how they tie that into the Justice League book. But this book is awesome. I'm giving it 4 out of 5 Nerd Skulls.
All right, guys, so I got to read Adventure Time #14, and being a fan of the comic book and the live-action show, it's just one of my favorite stories and just concepts. I love everything how they mix, you know, crazy fantasy and sci-fi, and you get that all in one compact, crazy, awesome story book that's ridiculous. It's always fun, it's always funny, it's always action-packed, and this issue does not falter. The second actual like story in it is really funny. It's actually really, really great. I highly recommend it for all ages. Check this out. Giving it 5 Nerd Skulls, because goddamn Adventure Time's awesome. FYI, we know it's not live action.
So this week I got to check out a one-shot from Dark Horse called Wild Rover. It's written by Michael Avon Oeming, which did pull my attention, so I picked it up. Unfortunately, I couldn't really relate to the storyline all that much. It's basically about a guy that believes he has a demon inside of him that makes him do bad things, and the only way to sate that demon is with heavy drinking. I can relate in some of my most depressing times as in my 20s. I mean, I've definitely been there, but I can't really say that I've tried to justify it with an actual demon. The end of the book doesn't really speculate whether there was an actual demon or this person was just a huge alcoholic, which is something that I didn't really like about it. But the story moves along, and I have a lot of respect for Oeming, so I'm going to give this book 3 out of 5 Nerd Skulls.
I got a chance to read Superior Spider-Man number 6. Now this is where I thought the book was going to be. This is what I expected when I first opened it, and I know I was let down, but now that we're at this issue, this is kind of the relationship I thought I would see between Peter and Doc Ock. Peter's running through Doc Ock's memories, and we're seeing more of that in his... We're not always seeing him outside, drawn like, ghostly Spider-Man or Peter. And this is done really well. This is going to be the turning point I see with... I kind of think everyone's starting to catch on that something's changed about Peter, the Avengers, Mary Jane, and this is the storyline I was hoping to get. So I have to say, these last couple issues have really been building up, and this was awesome. I can't wait to see where it goes. I'm giving it 4 out of 5 Nerd Skulls.
I read Batwoman number 18, and this was one of the books where it started off on my pull list, and I was really enjoying it, and then the story just kind of went downhill for me, and I haven't really been able to enjoy it since, so I took it off of my pull list. But I saw that Mr. Freeze was on it, so I figured I would give it another chance. The problem that I had was that I read a couple issues back, and I feel like there has been no change since that story. And I just feel like I'm reading the exact same thing, except now Mr. Freeze is in it. And it just was really hard to grasp my attention, so I'm just going to give this book 2 Nerd Skulls.
All right, guys, so I got to read Conan number 14, and this story arc is really awesome, spins out of the last one, and it's different from what has come before in the Conan series that Brian Wood's actually been putting out. Conan kind of messes up a bunch, and he did mess up a bunch in the first couple story arcs. But this one, he just kind of underestimates a lot of things. He really pays off poorly for him in the end, but he still kind of pulls it out, and it's great. Great cliffhanger for the next issue, and this is one of those series that I wish a lot more people would read, but knowing that people don't necessarily pick up on stuff like this, it sucks, because this should be like in everyone's pull box, just like Northlander should have. But anyways, I'm giving this 4.5 Nerd Skulls. Check it out. It's awesome.
I got to read Wolverine Max, number 5. We catch up with Logan in Japan, dealing with Creed, and I feel like this issue kind of came out just to get everybody prepared for the movie coming out soon, which isn't bad, but it's the same story we've been told a million times throughout the history of Wolverine. So nothing new and crazy. I was kind of hoping for more out of this, but sadly I didn't get it. Still a good read, I guess, if you're a Wolverine fan, but like I said, I've read the story a million times, so I'm only going to give it 2.5 out of 5 Nerd Skulls.
Another number 1 from DC came out this week, Constantine number 1. It is written by Jeff Lemire, so of course I had to read it. Constantine, I have to admit I don't know too much about his character, but I know enough to read his number 1 issue, and it had enough drive and pull to make me read another one. John Constantine is following around basically this person that has magical abilities to bring back Sargon the Sorceress, this huge bad person in magic, and apparently it's going to happen, so he has to stop it from happening. What is interesting about this issue, though, is they source Zatara as one of the main villains, and Zatara, as you know, is Zatanna's father, and I've always seen him as quite the good person, so it's interesting to see him as a villain, and they're playing it as someone that just got a hold of too much magic and didn't know how to handle it. And I really do not. I have a lot of respect for Zatanna and Zatara, and Zatanna looks up to her father so much. I cannot imagine her being the superhero she is now without that character in her life. So I want to see where it goes. I want to see his storyline especially. So I'm going to give this book 4 out of 5 Nerd Skulls.
Hey guys, I also got to read the My Little Pony Microseries issue number 2, and this one features Rainbow Dash. I don't know what is up because I've really been enjoying all the My Little Pony comics. It really felt true to the show, but for whatever reason, this one just didn't feel like the characters were really written properly. I just didn't feel like I was reading Rainbow Dash. I don't know what it was about this particular issue, and it also really dragged. The story was solved, and they just kept going, and I was like, the story's ended. Why are we still reading this. So unfortunately, I'm only gonna be able to give this book 2.5 Nerd Skulls. Hopefully the next one, which will be Rarity, will be better.
Got a chance to read BPRD 105, and this is just building up to something incredible. I'm almost more excited to see the next story, but seeing what's going on in this, I just feel like we're coming full circle with everything we've been reading in BPRD for the last couple years. All the characters that we've seen are making little appearances, and I feel like everyone is about to play a big role in just something epic. And yeah, this is the story I've been waiting for. I want to see more. I wish this came out every week because it's incredible. I'm giving this 5 out of 5 Nerd Skulls.
All right, so I got to read Avengers number 8, and whoa, it's another great story, another great introduction of a character. Jonathan Hickman's just really pulling it out with this. We finally understand what the Star Brand is, how powerful it is, with one of the coolest fights I've seen in this whole series so far. And then the last page, again, another great cliffhanger that just wants you, or leaves you wanting more. I really can't wait to see them fight with this big bad, because I was really hoping they would fight with them earlier in the whole story arc. And once Jonathan Hickman started this, didn't really go down that hard. Now it looks like it's gonna actually like get thrown down. So stay tuned with this. 4 Nerd Skulls for this book as well.
I got to read Judge Dredd Year 1, Number 1, and this is awesome because I love Judge Dredd, and this book is full of action and violence and judging and Judge Dredd, and it's actually pretty cool because I was reading it and they're kind of talking about how he's brand new, and it's fun. I've never read that perspective of Judge Dredd before, so it's cool seeing him start out and not really have the bearings that he has that you're used to reading with him. So this is a cool, kind of fresh idea to read with him. Like I said, I've never read any Judge Dredd story like this. So I highly suggest it if you're a fan. I'm giving this 4 out of 5 Nerd Skulls.